you're doing too much. Who is people, right? Who is even people? I have nothing to prove to anyone. If you don't take anything else from this video, I want you to remember this one thing. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video here on Chats with Michelle. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. So basically, I was on a mentor call recently, and on the call, I was pretty much having to share and go over my goals for the year, right? So as you know, in the last video, I shared that I was being very intentional about making quarterly goals. So taking my goals and splitting them up into the different quarters of the year. And as I'm sharing my goals, essentially my mentor, the mentor of the call, etc., she was pretty much just like, hey, like, you got a lot going on. Like, she didn't say that verbatim, but in so many words, she was like, you got a lot going on, and I think that you should take this first quarter a little bit slower. And if you couldn't tell, like, I mean, she's quite right, you know? I mean, I do have a lot going on, hence, like, the new kind of setup, not really a new setup, still setting things up, and just so many different transitions that I have going on in this season. So she was absolutely right. And one of the assignments that we had was to, you know, now with sharing the goals, etc., to take those goals and reorganize those different things. And can I be honest with you? The goals that I shared, I literally shared my goals or the things that I wanted to accomplish for the first 2 quarters of the year. And she quite literally will help me come to the realization and conclusion, really, that my first 2 quarters of the year can be worked on throughout the year. Like, I don't need to add any more things this year. Like, that of what I have planned is more than enough. So once I got off the call, I was still sitting at my desk, and I wanted to kind of like just have a big overview of what it was that I shared, what it was that I was desiring to do this year. And as I was doing that, I quite literally heard the Lord say to me, Michelle, you are doing too much. You're doing too much. So this forced me, or it took me down this like kind of spiral of thoughts, right? And I had to get real with myself. I had to ask myself an honest question. What is the reason? What is the desire? Why do I feel the need to do so much in this season? And the truth of the matter is, I came to the conclusion that I intentionally and maybe even unintentionally felt the need that I had to make up for like lost time. You know, I've spoken about before how I just felt like I was dealing with imposter syndrome, and there's things that I wanted to do that I didn't follow through on, et cetera, all these different things. And now I just felt the need, like, listen, okay, I got to get serious. You know, I talked about how my word of the year was going to be discipline, and I was going to be super disciplined. I was going to do the thing. So I guess without realizing, I felt the need to make up for lost time. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but feeling like you've wasted time, and feeling like because you've wasted time, now you just have to cram everything. You have to just do the absolute most. And in that, like, as I'm like reminiscing or just like pondering these things, I was reminded of the word that I'm choosing this year, which is surrender. Surrendering my plans, surrendering my goals, surrendering all the things. So as I'm going through these emotions, right, I'm asking myself, like I said, these honest questions. And one of the honest questions that I had to ask myself was, Michelle, are you comparing yourself? Like, be real, you know? And, you know, we know the saying, you know, comparison is a thief of joy. You shouldn't compare yourself to people. And, you know, I'm not worried about nobody else. We say these things, but I had to really get real with myself. I had to be honest and say, Michelle, are you comparing yourself? And as I sat and I thought about it, I said, you know what? For me, it was like the thought of people thinking, or like who is people, right? Who is even people? But just like, I want people to see and know and show that I'm doing things, that I'm working hard, that I'm putting in the work. It's like I said before, the need to make up for lost time, this lost time that I've had, and I just need to show and do and put out the work and show and do more and just keep going and keep pushing myself and cramming so much into like a short period of time when I can like take my time and do things the right way. Because I don't know about you, but I've definitely been there before where you feel like, oh my goodness, I should be further along by now. Or maybe you're looking at your peers and you're like, wow, they're doing this thing, they're doing that, and I need to show up more. Like I said, just feeling the need to make up for lost time and do the thing and do extra and just do the absolute most. I decided to take my mentor's advice and pace myself. When we were on the call, she mentioned something that her pastor had said the previous Sunday, and I just thought it was so great. And she said that he said, when God gives you a burden, give it to him. Meaning, and I want to keep reiterating, that there's nothing wrong with having goals and ambitions. Quite literally, we probably have this burden because the Lord gave it to us, right? That's why we have this burden. We feel like we need to do the thing. And oh my goodness, I've wasted time and I need to go and I need to push through and I need to do the thing. I need to do. However, if God put it in you, he will birth it out of you. And I'm just being reminded, especially as I'm choosing to really surrender to the word surrender right this year. I'm just being reminded that, listen, the Lord is the one who gave me this burden. So he will take me through it. There's no need for me to quite literally like kill myself or just like overwork and tire myself to try to like, I don't know, prove something to myself or maybe even unintentionally prove things to others, right? We might say that we're not doing that, but like, are you? I don't know. Like, are you trying to prove things to someone else? Are you trying to prove and show and prove that you can do a thing, And with me deciding to take my mentor's advice, the action item behind that is me sitting down and taking those first two goals or just different things that I want to do for the first two quarters of the year. And I've decided to spread it out through the year because I have nothing to prove to anyone. And I quite literally would like to pace myself so that I do not burn out. I think a lot of the times, and most people, and I've been there before too, where it's like, you're at the beginning of the year and you're fired up and you want to do the things, but then you're unable to continue, you're unable to be consistent because you've burnt out, because you're tired, or because maybe you're not seeing the results that you thought that you should see by now. But it's like, if okay, the Lord is the one that put this in my heart, so I'm going to pace myself, I'm going to push myself, and I'm just going to see this thing through. Those other things don't matter. And another thing that she mentioned on that call was, keeping your promises to yourself. And that is something that I really, 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 really want to do this year, is keep the promises to myself that I make. If you don't take anything else from this video, I want you to remember this one thing. And that one thing would be to pace yourself this year. Pace yourself. I understand that you may feel like you're behind or you have to make up for wasted time, etc. But it's much better to get the goals and the things, the dreams, the desires done than to be burnt out by like March or April because you overexerted yourself, like overcompensating for lost time. One of the things that we talked about on the mentorship call was how most people, if they actually stick to it, they only really get one of their goals done for the year. And here it is. I had so many and I would still like to get them done. However, the only way for that to happen is if I pace myself. So I just really want to encourage you to pace yourself this year, to not feel the need to show or prove to anybody that, you're not a failure and, you're not a quitter. It's like, it ain't about everybody. It's about you and what the Lord put on your heart for you to do. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching another video here on Chats with Michelle. Listen, if you found this video valuable, consider sharing it with someone else. And Also, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel because listen, we've got so much to chat about. Bye.